Hey. Catch up with me as we get ready to film an episode of N.Y.G.A. Okay. So, first, if you're watching this, you probably know that I haven't posted an episode in a little minute. Life was lifing. What can I say, honestly? First, I just need to start taking myself as like a priority more. I'm going to try to be much more committed to the things that I want. And this podcast is something that I really want. And honestly, the thing that got me to record today's episode was the fact that I went on my YouTube and I saw that I still had people viewing the episode even though I hadn't released in literally a month. So this is just a little get ready with me because I'm feeling inspired and figured if I'm going to be recording anyway, might as well record a get ready with me as well, okay? Now, I don't do a lot when I record N.Y.G.A. I just put on my primer. I don't do a lot because if I'm not leaving the house that day or like I'm not going to be leaving the house after the episode, I'm not going to waste a pair of contacts, which is why I have my glasses on, but I'm blind under here. So if you see me staring off into space, it's because I can't see. But on a serious note, I want to talk a little bit more about why I started N.Y.G.A. and why I chose the format that I did, okay? Let me turn you with me a little bit. Okay. So firstly, those of you that tuned into the first podcast got a little tidbit about why I wanted to start N.Y.G.A. And it was literally just as simple as I feel like someone should be having the conversations regarding growth in a personal sense in our community. And you know, our community is really big on like breaking generational curses and making sure that you do better than the last generation. But that's really only in career-wise and not really personality-wise, if that makes sense. Like we always talk about, oh, I want my kids to have better than I did. I want them to do better than I did. And that may be true, right? Like I was a first generation by the sense that I was the first one to attend a 4-year university, right? But if it weren't for my major, which was psychology, by the way, that's what I have my degree in, mind you. Anyway, if it wasn't for my major, I don't think I would have ever had the courage to start speaking up on the behaviors in our family that didn't necessarily need to be there, if I'm being very honest. I feel like in a lot of Black families, actually, and a lot of families of color, we always harp on, oh, do the best you can, but we're never really talking about being better people. You know, like, yes, this is not to say that this is how I feel about my family and our situation, but just in general, speaking for the community, I may have a better job, a better education. I may have, a better financial standing. I might have, not had kids out of wedlock, whatever it may be that may be breaking the generational curse for your family. But are you a good person though? Like the things that get swept under the rug. Me and one of my friends were literally just talking about this the other day. Families of color sweep a lot of things under the rug that need to be talked about, and that may be as traumatizing and as uncomfortable as like abuse or neglect or sexual abuse, physical abuse, verbal abuse, whatever it may be. But it also could be as simple as growing up in a household with a narcissist. We have to unlearn those behaviors, which is kind of a snippet into what today's episode is going to be about, actually. But someone needed to be comfortable having those conversations. And honestly, it took me talking about my experience with one of those situations. I'm not going to talk about it on here because I don't want to get banned. But talking to my mom and finally letting her know about something that had happened when I was younger that people just didn't seem to talk about or didn't seem to notice. And while I had some family that was very supportive, I have family to this day that are still just ignoring the whole situation. And that's not right, you know? Like, it's just not right. So I wanted N.Y.G.A to kind of be, one, a place for me to vent, I guess I should say, about the things that I experienced growing up that I wish someone would have talked to me about or someone would have told me or shared with me, because my siblings are 10 and 11 years older than me, but we weren't close enough. We didn't have a relationship where we talked about the things that they experienced in their childhood until I was old enough to have already experienced the same things, if that makes sense. And it just would have been nice to talk about it, but it is what it is. Anyway, the reason N.Y.G.A started was because I don't care whose toes I step on, to be very frank. I don't care if I hurt someone's feelings. I don't care if I talk about something that may be considered taboo in the community, because someone needs to talk about them, okay? That's the only way you're gonna grow. Saying all of that to say, this is literally the only way you are going to become a better person, is to address the things that you experience, to pass on the things that you experience, not pass on in that sense, but talking about them, you know, like storytelling, letting people know what happens in the past so that those things can be avoided in the future, okay? I know that was a whole lot of words to say the same thing, but that's why N.Y.G.A was started. And I had somebody ask me, so in case any of you are also wondering the same thing, N.Y.G.A looks a lot like another word, or is pronounced like another word. And all I'm going to say is I only can speak from my own experiences, okay? And in case you couldn't tell, I am a Black woman, okay? So I can only speak from the experience of a Black woman, all right? I can't speak from the experience of a Hispanic man. I can't speak from the experience of a Caucasian person that's non-binary, okay? Now, while a lot of the messages may resonate and connect with people of different ethnicities, different backgrounds, different socioeconomic classes, I strongly believe that we are all connected through our experiences, for sure. That being said, I can only speak from the Black experience, okay? So while, yes, I have this podcast in mind to help talk about the things that other people may not feel super comfortable talking about, I don't want anyone to think that because of the name that it's only for people who can say the word that looks a lot like N.Y.G.A, okay? I don't want anyone thinking that it's not for you because you can't say it or because I'm a Black woman. That's not true. But to put the questions to rest, does N.Y.G.A stand for what I think it stands for? Yes. Okay? Yes. Ooh. Ooh. You could tell I need some setting spray, huh? I don't do much to my face when I'm recording N.Y.G.A. I put on some concealer. I put on some blush. I brush my eyebrows, sometimes with a tint like I did today. Clean them up a little bit. And then I put on some setting powder. I thought about putting more makeup on today because I'm breaking out. I did a purging mask a couple days ago, so it's bringing a lot of my blemishes to the forefront. But like I said, this is real, raw, and authentic. So I'm showing you what I'm doing before I get on camera, and that's what it is. Also, another thing that I want to talk about, some people have been asking me why, and when I say some people, I literally mean my friends and family. Like, I don't want you guys to think that, oh my God, like, she has so many fans already. Like, she's already has, like, all these people. I don't want you guys to think, like, oh, she has all these people that are asking her questions and stuff. I'm literally talking about my friends and my family. When I say people have been asking me, I mean my homegirls, my man, my mom, my sibling. Like, that's what I mean. Me and my besties, okay? That's what I'm talking about. But anyway, I've had people asking me why I decided to do a video format for the podcast instead of audio, like a traditional podcast. And there's a lot of reasons why I decided to do that. One of them being I'm extremely expressive with, as you see, my hands and my face as well. And I just didn't think that my like facial expressions and the way I talk with my hands, I just didn't know how that was going to come across if people couldn't see them, you know? So I know, like, while I'm sitting here doing like a very light makeup look, you're probably wondering like, no, but why are you doing all of this? Like, when you can just not be on camera. Okay, well, I like being on camera. That's another reason. I enjoy looking at myself. As vain as that sounds, I know that sounds ridiculous. I'm actually not going to put on lashes this time. I'm just going to put on mascara because I am running out of lash glue. So I don't really want to waste it just to take it right back off. But yeah, very simply put, I talk with my face and my hands a lot, and I wanted that to come across. That's a part of being authentically me. And also, I like looking at myself. That's one of the other main reasons. Now, another reason that came about after I already started the podcast, so it wasn't one of my original reasons why I wanted to do a video podcast, but it's becoming one of the other reasons. Social media is growing, okay? Social media is a constantly growing platform, and let's just be real. No matter what your business is, the way you're gonna market it is on social media, okay? So while yes, it'd be nice to just not have to worry about doing my makeup, doing my hair, which like, not for me because I enjoy it. But while that would be nice, it's just more realistic that in this growing age of social media, more people want a face to the business, you know, like that's why you have things like surgeons on TikTok with social media managers, right? Instead of just regular billboards or infomercials, you know? It's a dying age and social media is the growing, okay? So that's why I chose to do a video podcast instead of just a audio one. I think that's about it. Like I said, really simple today. I wasn't feeling like too much. But yeah, so we caught up a little bit, told you a little bit more about the origin of N.Y.G.A, the hidden meanings in N.Y.G.A, and why I chose the format I did for N.Y.G.A, okay? Now, I recognize that it's been a month since you guys have heard from me, so some of y'all may be wondering if I'm really committed to this. And I will say that I'm giving myself grace, but I'm also trying to be harder on myself as well. Because this is, like I said, and I keep saying, this is something that I really, really want for myself. And that takes discipline, okay? And I don't have a lot of that. I'll be honest. I don't have a lot of discipline. But I am really in love with myself, or falling in love with myself. And 9 times out of 10, if I want something, I'm going to get it for myself. And if this is something that I want, then the discipline is going to come from somewhere. Okay, no matter what's going on in life, I'm going to start being so much more committed to making sure that I'm just being authentic to me, And if I want to record a podcast, even though it may not be the best episode I think that I can produce, it's something that I want to put out there regardless, you know, something that needs to be talked about. So every episode might not have me in makeup with my hair down and my glasses off. Some episodes might just be me in some sweats and my glasses with my bonnet on, because I had something to say, so I said it. And just because I'm on the video does not make it any less authentic, okay? So thank you so much for doing a little simple makeup with me. Me yapping made this video way longer than it needed to be, but I hope you tune in to tonight's podcast of N.Y.G.A. coming out in a couple hours, okay? Bye! See you there.